Welcome to Storytime with Pastor Steve. Today's story is King Josiah and God's Book. It comes from 2 Kings chapter 22. It's written by Christine Nelson and illustrated by Shauna J. Tenney. Josiah was only 8 years old when he became a king. He soon learned to love the Lord and follow God in everything. But his people who lived in Judah were naughtier than most, and poor Josiah couldn't help much. He had no rules to post. Till one day he saw the temple had fallen in disrepair. "We have got to fix this place," King Josiah did declare. And during all the cleaning, a special book was found, the book of law, inside which God's rules for life were bound. The high priest of the temple was the first to find the book. He passed it to a secretary who also took a look. The secretary ran to the king, who read the book straight through. Then King Josiah tore his robe for sins that he now knew. "There are going to be some changes here," said Josiah with disgust. "Our faith must lie in our true God. In him we place our trust." So Josiah sent an invitation to all the people in his land, to the poor, the meek, the shabby, to the rich, the strong, the grand. When they had all gathered, Josiah began to read all the words of God's to follow in thought and word and deed. After Josiah finished reading the book of God's commands, he said, "I promise to try to keep all that the Lord demands." Then he asked the sinful people to turn their hearts to God. "Yes, we'll follow this book of law," Josiah's people said with a nod. Then the changes started coming, like Josiah said they would, and God smiled upon Josiah, whose heart was pure and good. First, false idols were rounded up and burned outside the city gate. Then Josiah destroyed everything that he thought that God would hate. Josiah didn't forget the people who led the wicked ways. He permanently removed their evil from Judah's nights and days. But our good King Josiah didn't just say no, no. He knew a special celebration would help the people's faith to grow. I suppose that every year a Passover feast be planned. We must remember how our great God delivered us from Egypt's land. Not for hundreds of years had anyone celebrated Passover night, but now the people showed their love for God was pure and right. No other king had turned to God so faithfully with all his strength and soul and heart. His faithfulness never wavered, nor did his love for God depart. My prayer is that we become like King Josiah, that we hope and get excited to read God's word, that as we look at his Bible, as we listen to his stories, that we are reminded of all that he has done for us, and that he asks us to follow him and to live lives that are not sinful, but lives that are forgiven. May God bless you today.